and then we got a blanket downstairs. That's a tortilla. That's really fun.
Nice.
It's really sexy. Welcome back, everybody. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Taylor Toxin, and I have this handsome gentleman with me. I got Jeronimo.
This is Jeronimo Martinez, and you're watching T-Toxin Talks Local.
Hey, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Dude, I know I said this already, but I got to say it again. You look good, bro.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
You came up walking. I'm like, what the hell? I was not. I mean, you told me you had your suits. You know what I mean? But I was not expecting this kind of suit. Like, you really came for business.
So a lot of my suits, they're all custom tailored to fit me. I do monograms with my initials on the sleeves.
I love that.
It's just kind of the business presence. Is business professional. You never limit yourself to any business opportunities that you may see anywhere in the country or in the world for that matter. If you're traveling and you're a business individual, you should never limit yourself to any potential of any business to be made in out of town or vacationing times. You might approach somebody that you're playing poker with, for example, and you have very similar business industries where they're doing something in the other state where it's right up the same market as what you're doing, and it sets up maybe potential collaborations to expand both of your businesses. So the other side of it is too, you may be a business owner and seeking investors on certain business aspects of what you're doing, and if you're seeking, say, for example, a $300,000 investment, you're not going to be able to get that dressed in a hoodie. You know what I mean? Yes.
Yeah. You got to look the part. You got to look professional. Which, by the way, to sound a little bit more professional, if you want to put those headphones on, you can hear yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That'd be
My
great.
God, we were doing sound and lights, and I forgot this guy. I forgot to tell him to put his damn headphones on. My bad.
Audio quality, great. Yeah.
Yeah. If it sounds better.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit more comfortable. Now that we have a conversation, it's more like in here. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. My God, hold on. My silly butt forgot to close the window, y'all. I'm so
man.
This time.
We're sitting here with the wide open window.
My bad. I know we shouldn't.
All good.
All right, Jeronimo. Why are you here in Vegas, bro? And really quick, for those of you that don't know, I know Jeronimo. I've known him for how? I mean, we haven't spoken in a long ass time. But back in high school, we played baseball together.
Played football together a little bit.
We played football?
Yeah.
I don't remember you in football, bro.
Yeah, it was.
You're a scrawny kid. I don't remember you playing football.
Wide receiver.
Damn.
I remember we had Coach Moss junior year. We had Coach Moon senior year.
Moon was a bad dude. He straightened those kids up. Shout out Coach Moon, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Bill Moon.
I love you. And Angel. We have baseball, football, and Angel all in common.
That was a good, I would say, had to have been about 13 years ago now.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's crazy.
It's been a while.
Do you still talk to Angel?
I have not in
No?
about 10 years.
She's a mother.
Wow.
Yep, she's a beautiful mother. She's married to a soldier boy, I believe.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now she got a little kid.
I'd seen her brother more recently.
Her brother? I didn't even know.
Yeah, I'd seen her brother about, it'd been about a couple years now, but I'd stopped by and seen him real quick. It was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. I'd seen him in a grocery store and said, hey,
what up? It's weird when we see people from either high school or just like our own like small cities, and it's just like, oh, it's kind of a bit of a small world.
Oh, absolutely.
It's kind of weird,
especially when you see everybody branch out and everybody's going off to their own parts of the world and doing what they're doing.
Exactly. And then I moved to here to Las Vegas, and then out of nowhere you're like, hey, I'm gonna be here. Why? Well, I know, but if you don't mind, would you tell them why you're here?
Yeah,
because this is for business, right? And
absolutely.
we do want to branch out and see what we can connect with, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. So I came out here on a couple of reasons. Of course, I wanted to spend a good holiday out here for the New Year's and Christmas time and everything. But the big reason that I came out here is I'm in the process of expanding a lot of my businesses. So I do commercial real estate property development back in New Mexico. I have a used power sports dealership back in New Mexico. I more recently just got in with a chef from one of the higher end restaurants, and he's trying to get into a food truck. So I just bought a food truck in Santa Fe.
That's crazy.
So couple of the things that I wanted to do on this trip specifically was I wanted to find a good spot that we can potentially bring the food truck out here by March.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have the entire business of that food truck moved out here for a good couple of months. And we're looking to build that up for a while with the chef that I have from Santa Fe and another individual that was originally from Las Vegas. He was a Le Cordon Bleu graduate. And he's trying to get back out to Las Vegas. So this gives him a reason to be able to move back to Las Vegas and to be able to expand on some of his profession as well. So, I mean, between the two chefs, I've got, more than enough experience and reputation. And then I want to have the, tools to utilize to help them build up that business. And so my part of it is really a lot of the marketing, a lot of the initial preliminary work to be able to find locationing, to be able to find, where the actual market is going to be good at. And so I was, really just kind of scouting around as to where we can do such thing with the food truck. Going into that food truck a little bit more, we do have some ideas for this. We're trying to really maximize a lot of the potential for this with the cannabis industry as well. There is some of the menu items that we will incorporate and do something similar to like a beer garden on the back of the food truck. You have an ID checkpoint. You can come in, and we have all of the menu items that my chefs are making that we can do cannabis infused as well, and have a lot of the edibles similar to like a creme brulee, for example. You can get one of those with 100 milligrams, 250 milligrams, as strong as you really want it, and we'll have different menu items that will incorporate that THC product for that market of people.
Right. I mean, there's a whole wide range of people that would love to have that, because a lot of folks don't smoke it because it affects them differently, so they have to consume it different ways, and that's a really good business.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, with the tourists too, you have a lot of tourists that maybe they don't want to go and smoke a joint out in public. You can give them a dessert that they'll be able to consume while they are on their way to wherever they're going, and then this will just keep a lot of those customers being able to consume whatever amount of the THC product that they're wanting to consume without really having to make it publicized. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it gives you a little more confidentiality with it as well.
I really like that. So how did you meet these chefs, these two chefs that you have?
Interesting. The first of the two being the one that I'm working with in Santa Fe, I've known the least amount of time. I met him on the side of 599 in Santa Fe. He was broke down. Me being a mechanic, I just decided to stop and see if I can help him out. And turns out he was having some engine problems. And, I did the best to try to get him off the side of the road. And we eventually got his car pulled off to a place that he was safe. Well,
thankfully, yeah.
Out of appreciation, we, started to talk a little bit more. He, tried to give me a meal or whatever because he's a chef. So in the talks of everything from that point forward, I got to know this individual as another young and motivated business individual that has a lot of very talented skills. So with that being said, we had very similar ideas of how we can be able to make money and be able to expand on good industries. And him being a luxury chef, he wants to get out of the restaurant he's in. He's in pretty much a position where he's right underneath the main guy, and he's making decent money, but he doesn't really want to be in a restaurant game anymore. And he sees a lot of the potential for how much food can be able to make in a business. As far as overhead, he also sees the amount of overhead that you have in a restaurant of that nature.
Smart,
so if you can make a 5-star luxury plate, sell it for $13 on a food truck, have it all ready to go, you're getting half the price of the plate, same quality. You're getting a lot better, what's the word for it, convenience. So that you're able to actually just stop, go, and it's almost like a luxury food truck, you know what I mean? With that being said, he had a lot of other ideas that you don't really see in a food truck. Typically, you see like tacos or you see stuff like that along those lines.
Burritos, plates, simple stuff, on the go.
Yeah. And so this individual, he actually went to Italy and he trained as a pasta chef. He is a very exquisite pasta chef, so he makes a lot of the different Italian dishes, such as cannellonis, such as, a homemade ravioli or any of that stuff that he can make. And he does a very efficient job at making this stuff to where it's not really taking a long time. So with some of the ideas that we have, it'd be kind of a prepackaged stuff to where we, make a bunch of the plates, have them ready to go, somebody comes up, they can order it. It is still fresh and ready to go, but also in a very convenient way for them to be able to take it if they want to take it home or if they want to take it on wherever they're going to eat it.
Makes sense.
So
Damn.
this also goes in line with some of the licensing. There is what they call a risk factor for all of the food that you sell. And the higher the risk level, the bigger the license fee is, because a good example of that would be, say, food that is cooked on the spot that can spoil over a certain period of time, that doesn't have any refrigeration or any storage for it, or it is not packaged in any way. That would be of a higher risk level of food to be sold in the health standards.
Okay.
So those certain items would be of a higher fee to be able to obtain the licenses to be able to sell that food. Now, the lower your risk level by doing such things like having adequate storage, adequate places to be able to refrigerate or to be able to properly store a lot of the foods, it eliminates that risk factor as a food owner or a food business. And so going along the lines of prepackaged, it pretty much eliminates that risk factor entirely.
Prepackaged.
Yeah.
That's smart. It's smart that you guys are, well, you and your team are going, ahead looking into that, because, it's a huge factor. It'll lose you a lot of money over time. So it's really important.
Oh, absolutely. And it could build a bad reputation for your business too if you have any health issues or any risk level issues of, say, you don't store this food for the proper storage, and now it leads to something down the road with one of your customers. Well, that could bring back a bad reputation on your business of being a non-reputable food industry business. So
Got you. So you're trying to go for a good reputation, but when does the reputation start? Because do you have the truck working right now in Santa Fe?
yeah, so we do have the truck.
Okay.
It's already in the works. We're pretty much at the point right now where we're just trying to expand on the market out there. We're building up revenue. We're seeing how we're doing. We're building up the business. And in that time, me working with the chef that I've met out there, we've been just slowly getting to a point where we can move out here. That brings me to the second individual that's involved, the Le Cordon Bleu graduate. I met him by when I was in college in Phoenix. I went to Motorcycle Mechanics Institute with his little brother. And so I'd given him a room in my house, and he was renting out a room for about 6 to 8 months. And he was in the time working in different food businesses out there. And I got to learn a lot from him in the food industry. That's kind of where I started learning about the food industry, was when I was roommated up with this individual.
That's convenient. When was it that you went to the motorcycle ITT Tech?
I went to Motorcycle MMI, Motorcycle Mechanics Institute.
There you go.
I went there from 2013 to about 2015. I ended up finishing Kawasaki and Suzuki in 2016, technically, but I had graduated from Hontech and the entire program in 2015.
Damn. So just 2 years?
Yeah, it was, and it was technically supposed to be a little bit shorter than that. I took a couple of leave of absences and a couple of breaks along the way, and just kind of slow played it out. But at the end of it, I ended up finishing with three of the manufacturers out of the 5 that they offered. So
That's crazy.
It was a pretty good experience, overall.
So what was it after or during that you were trying to build your own company? Because you said that you have a shop in Santa Fe, correct?
Yeah, so that brings me back to my business partner that I had partnered up with in the Power Sports dealership. He's actually another one of the MMI graduates. We met about halfway through that school. Interestingly enough, he was from Rarity, and we're sitting next to each other in Phoenix. And just out of nowhere, I'm talking about Zozobra. Now, for those of you that don't know, Zozobra is one of the oldest parties of Santa Fe. Fiestas de Santa Fe. Zozobra
Que
is...
viva la fiesta.
Que viva la fiestas, So Zozobra was on the topic. I was on the phone talking with a family member of mine. By the time I got off the phone, he just stared at me. He's just like, what do you know about Zozobra?
I need to know. Investigation time.
Yeah, and so I told him, I'm from Santa Fe, and he said, "Wow, I'm from Edgewood, and grew up in Morarty, and it's right over the mountain from where I was at, and it was just a very interesting thing to know that there was somebody that was that close to home sitting right next to me out here in this random Phoenix, Arizona, and
you never know.
So
you just never know.
Oh, absolutely, but That individual, he ended up being a top tech in the entire graduating class. He pretty much graduated as the top tech. He's a very reputable individual as far as a technician goes, and a very motivated individual as far as business goes. So we had a goal way back then before we had graduated to build our own shop. We knew that it was going to take a lot of years and a lot of training, a lot of
money.
practice, and
Ugh.
we finally got there. But when we graduated, we both went into different areas of the industry. I went into more of the management and the other sides of it, like sales and parts and everything else, where he went just straight into this technician side of it, and he was working as the lead tech in the shop. I'm working as like a floor manager, essentially, is what I had finished off at. We never worked in the same dealerships, but we did work in very similar areas, and we worked very close to each other in some of the places that we did work. So that being said, we over about 8 years started building up what we needed to get, and then in February we just opened up our dealer. It was a dealership. We got an official dealer license with the state of New Mexico, got our dealer certi bond and everything else that we needed to get to that point. Right now we're still in a used inventory. We're trying to get into the new inventory. Both myself and my business partner specialize in American Honda. I had a couple of years that I had learned and gotten certified with Bombardier recreational products, which is BRP, Can-Am, Ski-Doo, Sea-Doo.
Okay.
They've got a lot of good products. As it sits right now, they're actually a market cap leader with Polaris. So,
damn, you are just bombarding me with a bunch of big words, bro. I swear. Like when I met you, it's a good thing that you got smarter. But my goodness, proud of you. Hell yeah. So what is it? What is the end goal right now? Because you have food.
Yeah,
you're in the food industry. You're trying to infuse cannabis in it.
Yep.
Then you have the motorcycle industry.
Yep.
And then there was a third one, wasn't there?
Commercial real estate property development.
There you go. Okay.
I got into that really more so just to own the land, the building, and the business of my dealership. And the entire idea of going into the commercial real estate property development was simple. Just generate enough revenue to be able to pay for all of the other business ventures.
Yeah.
And it's a very simple process. You just third party everything out. You have a bunch of subsidiaries that you pay off for basically completing a project. So if you go buy a piece of land, you just, pay off everybody else that is involved. And you have, at the end of the day, more income coming back in from, say, a monthly rent of tenants or a short sale of portions of the property. One example of that I recently got into was a 200-acre property that I purchased in Santa Fe. In this 200-acre property, I split it down into 5 and 10-acre sections so that I can basically do a lease option out on each of those sections.
Smart. Okay.
The lease option then gives the tenants 18 months to complete the executed option of purchase, and then they move into each of those 5 and 10 acre sections. Over that 18 months, I get them solar. I get them all of their gas from the New Mexico Gas Company with all the hookups and everything. And then I install my commercial waterized well, and that's going to be a portion of their utility package that I'm going to down the road give them. So with everything that I give them, I'm able to sell them the piece of land, and then at the end of 3 or 4 transactions out of the 8 lots that I already have set aside, I will have already paid off the entire 200 acres. So by selling smaller sections that have more amenities and more stuff to offer the tenants in such a way that they don't have to pay a large amount up front, they pay a little bit less than 50% of the total purchase price on an option consideration up front at time of signing, and then they pay $2,000 a month until the time that they execute their option after 18 months. Out of that $2,000, they get 75% of that towards the total purchase price, plus the little under 50% of the total purchase. After all that said and done, like I said, I sell 4 of those units, and I've paid off my entire 200 acres, and I'm still sitting on a couple hundred acres pretty much.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got a lot of extra room.
Yeah.
That's insane, man. How did you come across the land?
So I was gonna build houses, and then Santa Fe County, they shut me down. They didn't want a big major subdivision.
Boo, you suck.
It was set up as agricultural land, and that's what it's zoned as right now. So after all of the fighting to get major subdivision, I finally decided to just use it as what it's used for, And so now my tenants that I'm after are both in the cannabis cultivation and in the hops cultivation industry. So they're local brewers that are out there. There's a couple of local growers that are out there for the marijuana industry. And those are really the target audience as to what I was looking for, which there is a huge expansion in both of those industries there in Santa Fe or in the New Mexico area right now. So that made it to where I was able to reach a good market of people. And, that being said, I'm right now about 2 out of my 4 goal of tenants to be able to pay off my entire property.
That's insane. Damn, good for you, and in hopes it continues.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
pays
no,
off.
It got me into another part of my business as well. I got into cannabis cultivations a little bit. I started a micro business producer's license, which allows me to grow up to 200 plants. I got another individual that is a pretty qualified grower, who's about twice my age, and I pay him $35,000 a year to start out with. I'm moving him up to about a $50,000 a year salary. He takes care of the plants. I turn around and I'll harvest about 20 of those plants to make about a 15-pound harvest and sell those on a wholesale to the dispensaries. And then I'm also cultivating clones. So you make mother plants to cut those for clones. You make 12 clones and you sell those off anywhere you want. And so especially now in like the February to March months when people are starting to grow their own, you can go into a dispensary and you could just buy a $25 clone. Well, those come from, in different times, growers like myself, where I'm selling 30 or 40 of those clones to the dispensary for $8 a clone, and they're turning around and selling it for $25 a clone ready to transplant. So they're making easily a good $15 off of every one of those clones that they're selling. And if they're buying 30 of them at a time, well, they're making some pretty decent money just off of that business alone.
How does the dispensary know that the clones are, how do you say, healthy to be putting out into the public? Like, is there any regulation, like, of soil that you have to be using, lights, watering, nutrition, et cetera, et cetera?
So there's not really any regulations to that, but there are definitely some standards that you would set. So like with the clones that I sell, I do a grow package. Basically, it's a piece of paper that tells you if you follow these steps, you're going to grow some good stuff. In addition to that, I also provide a sample of what those clones could be with the ones that I've harvested. So I'll cut certain clones and then I'll keep a couple of those for sample harvest. And then that'll be an example of what that plant out of that exact batch can be at. So when you look at it, and if they follow my same guidelines of how I'm doing it, I know that when I grow it and I have it all the way into its final product, I have it at this amount, and this is the THC levels, and this is, the quality of the product. But if you follow the same guidelines that I'm doing, you should get the same achievement of product. So,
damn. And the amount of, or the quality of it has to be tested by someone specific, right?
Yes.
It has to like go through, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I don't know. I'm barely learning. I do have someone. Shout out to you, Sam. I love you, by the way. No, don't tell me you died, sir. I'm sorry. 1 second.
Well, it looks like we've got a dead camera. Just a brief delay, and we'll be right back to it, folks.
Well, weirdly enough, it stopped. I don't know why, man. My technology, that's an old one actually. I need this one here is a 11 black Pro Black, and that's the like 7 silver.
Okay.
It's out of date, unfortunately. I think I just need to update it. My apologies. Where were we?
No, so we were talking on the cannabis side of things.
Are you a stoner yourself?
I am. I do enjoy a good blunt myself.
Okay, all right. Are you a bong guy, a pipe guy, a joint guy, a blunt guy?
The blunt guy, personally.
You're
yeah.
A blunt guy. Damn.
I do have a couple of bongs. I haven't used them in a while. It's kind of funny. Over the years, I've accumulated a lot of glass, and I don't really kind of use it. It's more collectible items. So.
Really? Well, I can see that. I've seen a lot of really nice pieces for up to like $3,000, $4,000.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
$5,000. It's oh my god.
These there's certain. I'm gonna go ahead and get me a drink here.
Sure,
as well.
sure. Liquid Death.
Shout out to Liquid Death.
One day you will be a sponsor. One day, guys. Just wait. Um, that's really insane that you're in all of these different departments because one is providing for another while that one is providing for the other one. So you're kind of like just having stepping stones.
Yeah, and they
That's
do all
crazy.
overlap in certain aspects. So going
Right.
back into the food business, the cannabis cultivation, it kind of provides for the food.
Mm-hmm.
My chef, he's also in the process of getting another one of the cannabis licenses, which is called a manufacturer's license. The manufacturer's license allows you to make any of the THC edibles or hash or any of that sort of stuff. It's a
Mm-hmm.
manufacturing of certain THC products. So, in total, there are a list of producers' licenses, there are manufacturing licenses, there's laboratory licenses, there's retail licenses, there's delivery licenses, and then there's a consumption license, which is like a consumption lounge. And
Okay.
those would be all of the different license areas of which New Mexico has. Now, there are certain ones that integrate different ones, like the vertically integrated license, and that one would pretty much have all of the licenses in one. When you get into some of those licenses, there are fees dependent on each of the licenses, and you have to have certain location requirements. So, like with the one that I'm in right now, it's a very minor requirement, just what you need. They're not very strict on how you do it. It's only about $1,000 a year on an annual fee to the state. So I got into one of the easier licenses to get into. There are some of them that will take a little bit more intensive time and everything with the effort to get those licenses. But for the most part, New Mexico has been pretty open about the expansion of that industry.
Okay.
And that's one thing that I've been wanting to look out here is for the expansion of that industry as well, because there are different aspects of it. Like I said, going into the food industry, providing some of the cannabis for that. And then, of course, there is just the general intake of revenue from that industry as well that we'd be making. So.
Right. 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 I don't know what to say. God damn it. I'm trying to think of something and you're just like just slamming me with all this information. What was one of the hardest obstacles that you had to get through for I mean any of what you're doing right now?
I would have to say it would be for the motorcycle. It would
Uh-huh.
be the amount of time to get to the level of certifications that I had. Prior to leaving Motorcycle Mechanics Institute, I
Mhm.
had gone to 3 of the different corporate facilities for American Honda. I had updated certifications that needed to be updated every 2 years. I had went and actually done certain projects that, along the time frames that the people showing you how to do it were struggling to meet those time frames.
Mhm.
That was the difficult part for me. Like, certain projects to be able to call myself a master technician or to be able to say that I've achieved every certification that American Honda has offered a technician. It wasn't an easy road. Even going as far back as Motorcycle Mechanics Institute, there was 27 of us in my Honda Tech class, which is the Honda specific class. Only 3 of us had graduated with all of the classes that they offered there. Going a
Nice.
step further, going into the actual training facilities.
Mhm.
The most recent one that I'd gone to in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, there was 8 people in that class that were sent from all over the country that were from different dealerships. Now, everybody's not at the same level of training. They're going over there to get whatever training that they need or they desire most to be able to update their certifications. Now, out of the 8 people that were in my class, I was the only one that was achieved of what they call registered technician status. There was 3 of them that were around the bronze level, and then the rest of them were in the silver categories, which they still had probably at least 30 more of the hands-on training courses to be able to achieve registered technician.
Mm.
Um, Most people that don't get a lot of that head start early on, they spend pretty much year in and year out going to the training courses twice a year. They'll spend 2 weeks out of every year just doing as much as they possibly can until they finally get there. But the problem is Honda's always coming out with new courses. So as they're slowly catching up, now they're still getting behind because now there's all the new stuff that comes out.
Oh
Um,
God.
and so when you're in that kind of a cycle, it's very difficult for a technician to be able to ever achieve that master level, the highest level being that registered technician status. And so I would
Kind of
say
impossible, right?
not
Well,
quite impossible,
not
but
impossible, but they make it look impossible.
I'll give you a number for statistical purposes. Out of the entire country of Honda technicians in any of the power sports dealerships around the United States, there is only about 3,200 registered technicians around the entire country. Out of those 3,200, myself and my business partner are both one of them.
Damn. I bet you feel good saying that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I had I don't
It's a
know if
big
it's
deal.
current, but as of about 2 years ago, I was the highest certified technician in the state of New Mexico for American Honda, and that was verified by Honda Corporate. They'd sent me out a jacket. I have a plaque that came straight from American Honda.
Okay, fancy.
It's a very very I don't know, very proud accomplishment, I guess you could say.
I'm happy for you. So, out of everything that you've already done, I'm assuming there's going to be something else. Like, I don't know, you want to take on what's that one where you like you have a frisbee and you like throw it into the net. You know what I mean? What is that game called? I don't know. You want to be a professional at that. Like, if it wasn't for the motorcycle, if it wasn't for the food, for the cannabis, for the real estate, what would you be doing?
I always have a back burner plan. I started
Yeah.
I started a Bachelor of Science in Aviation Maintenance Management, and I also started a Bachelor of Computer Science in Game Development. I'm a big
Oh my
time
God.
gamer, so
Yeah. You showed me your setup. That's sick, dude.
I've got a kind of a double bachelor backup plan. So
Well, if the food doesn't work out, you have cannabis. If the cannabis doesn't work out, you got real estate. If the real estate doesn't work out, you got your motorcycle company. And then outside of that, you can go into either gaming or the aviation. That's insane, dude. What do you not do? What are you bad at? Please tell me.
I'm bad at writing.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a business. Well, I mean, there's a lot of typing, so I get that. That's fair.
No, but more realistically, I tried to learn a little bit about as much of everything as I can.
Mm-hmm. I
You
can
know,
see it. I can tell.
there is still a lot of things that I would like to learn a lot more on. I'm not too proficient in like heavy equipment as a technician. That's something that I would like to work on a little bit more. I do know a little bit on the aviation, of course. I know about the motorcycles and the power sports equipment. So that's something that I feel like is lacking in my technical profile.
Okay.
There is something that I do want to get into later on, and that's getting into a little bit more of the AI coding. And that's kind of
Oh
why
my
I got
God,
into
yes.
the game development. Because, outside of video games, there is something of a bigger project that I have in my mind that I want to develop an AI system for any vehicles that is far beyond what any of the AI systems of your vehicles are right now. Just to touch in real brief with that,
So you're kind of like trying to combat with Elon right now?
no, not at all,
No?
because Elon
Okay.
is not doing anything of the nature of what I'm planning to do. Picture your car
Really?
can essentially tell you when your technician doesn't do their job right? Or picture your car can tell you that it needs a certain service based on the inputs of all of these different sensors and everything else. And your car would have its own personalized personality that would be based on the owner, that could be reset by a dealership at any given time. It would have its own memory of all of the car's history. And then going a step further, like I said, it would have a lot of that very intensive, I guess, diagnostics within it. And you can, in a sense, jump in your car and be like, hey, car, when do I need my oil change? And your car will tell you, hey, I need your oil change done this time. Or, if you're very questionable about what a technician did, say you're paying $1,500, $2,000 to your technician, which isn't uncommon in the auto industry. Say you need to go and get a big repair done. Now, it is unfortunately still a thing in this industry where there are not so honest technicians, right? You go and you pay them $2,000, they put an old part back in there, and they didn't properly actually do the job, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
just
Plenty of
half-assed
stories.
it. And so when you're looking at that, if you had the confidence to be able to just say, hey, my car can tell me if you did your job or not, you know what I mean? If you have that option there, and your car can just be like, okay, yeah, all the job was done and performed correctly. Now you have that confidence to know that that technician or that shop isn't screwing you over. They're not
Right.
trying to take advantage of you and your money. And so it's something that it's a lot more in depth than just your basic artificial intelligence assistant. It's actually going to be almost like giving the car itself its own personality, or
I
the
was gonna
vehicle
say.
itself its own personality. And so then it becomes more so than just a vehicle. It becomes
Oh
sort of
my.
a friend. You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh my God. So would the car be able to like curse at me? Like if I would be like, ah, fuck this day, and the
Absolutely.
car could be like, fuck this day too. I don't know,
Absolutely. So
like it connects with your personality, and so then it becomes part of you, and the company brand or something.
absolutely. So I haven't gotten too much into the coding of this yet, but the idea stands that the vehicle would have a personalized personality that would be based on the owner. So when you buy the car, for example, say you buy it secondhand, you get it wiped, and then when it's wiped, it's the first couple of things that's going to happen. It's going to get your voice, it's
Uh
going to
huh.
get your overall like attitude, your overall like personality, right? And it's going to start going into a learning phase, right? And in that learning phase, it's going to start learning how you talk, what kind of, slang you use, what kind of overall person you are, and it's
Okay.
going to build off of that. And so
Right.
then that
And
adaptive learning, it's sorry to cut you off
no,
there.
no,
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 but that adaptive learning, it's basically going to continue to build up to that point to where eventually it's going to be a mirror image of what the owners want and will is. And then if there's anything that you would ever want to change, it would be able to be changed by the voice recognition of the owner. So if the owner says, hey, I don't like you doing that, car, the car's going to be like, all right, I won't do that again. And so it's going to be in such a way that you can in a way shape your car to be the way that you want it to be.
that's insane. It's total random thought, but there was a study that was talking about how millennials are such spoiled little shits because ever since they were kids, I'm one of them. I'm a millennial, Gen Z specifically. They everything that is given to them is personalizable,
Yeah.
which then when they go into a career and they can't personalize that, or however you want to word that, they get entitled, so they say. This whole car situation is exactly like that. So now instead of being selfish and in love with your cell phone, your car is going to be just as important because it remembers everything that you say, everything you do, keeps track of everything just like your cell phone. That's insane to me, man. To think about that's a really. Have you seen Leave the World Behind by any chance? The film?
I may have. I
No.
don't recall.
I want to know what your thoughts are on this, because in one of the scenes these people are trying to get out. They're in like the green parts of New York, and they're trying to get out and they're driving, and
Okay.
it's clogged. Like all the way to the bridge up to the city is completely clogged. And what cars are there that were sitting there were Teslas, all
Okay.
brand new, right off the lot. And on every single one it says something about like could be driven without somebody, like those words I can't remember.
Okay.
What are your opinions on that? Because what if one day someone wants to induce the apocalypse, and they want to take over all these vehicles that have this technology that they can take over? Is there anything that combats that? Is that something that is still a problem? What are your thoughts? You're smarter than me,
So,
so give me
as far
something.
as my understanding, there are a couple of ways that this could happen. You could have the adaptive AI overwhelm what is already coded into it. There are certain safe blocks that you can do to basically limit what the AI is able to do. And
Mm-hmm.
so those parts of the code would basically say, hey, it cannot do this, it cannot do this, it cannot do this. And it would basically safe block that. The other thing is, if you look at more on, say, the manufacturer control or somebody that has made that system,
Mm-hmm.
they would have direct access to a lot of those systems based on whatever, whatever their servers are based out of. That would be able to override a lot of those systems. So like they'd be able to connect directly to those cars based on whatever servers they have over here because they've got it in a direct connection with the satellite or whatever, so now that it would be something that would have to be safeguarded within each of the individual companies that are actually setting up those. Say, for
Mm-hmm.
example, with the autonomous vehicles that Tesla is doing, they do have certain connectivity possibilities to where they can pretty much override and pretty much do whatever they want wirelessly, or
Right.
be sitting somewhere else and pretty much essentially control the car. Now, outside of that, I believe that there would be pretty much two ways that could go wrong. You can have either, like I said, the manufacturer that is actually controlling it, and then you have the adaptive AI learning a little bit more than what it needs to learn, and it's basically, like I said, basically stepping above its boundaries. You know what I mean? So
that's crazy.
now, I believe that it is definitely a little bit far out for stuff like that to happen, because there are a lot of different hands involved. A lot of people that have the safeguards and a lot of, the governmental input because of those possibilities. But then there is definitely the possibility for that to happen. I mean, we already have AI talking to itself outside of what it's coded to do, and having its own internal language of which we can't even code break, you know what I mean? Because
Really?
it's,
I didn't know
they
that.
have some supercomputers that are actually creating code to start communicating with each other that we're not able to read. And so it's,
We're fucked.
yeah.
I love how you just like, you don't pause. It's like, yes, bro.
Yeah.
Let me be real
no,
with you.
don't mess with the supercomputers talking to each other, because we don't know what they're saying,
Let's get away from that subject really quick, because we're almost at 45 minutes, my
Yeah,
dude.
no, definitely.
You spoke the most out of anyone that I've had on this podcast. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But really quick, do you have any advice for those people out there that are trying to follow your footsteps, that are trying to get bachelor's degrees in A, B, and C, and trying to do food infused with A, B, and C, and trying to do something out of state A, B, C? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
what's some advice that you'd be able to give them?
I'll start out with this. Your average millionaire has a 7-stream income. Out of
Are
those,
you trying to be a millionaire?
I am, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
You look the part, man. You're getting there.
Not quite there yet, but definitely hoping that going into my 30s that I can achieve having 7-stream income, which would incorporate having 7-figure income as well. Now, out of that 7 streams of income, you have 2 of those are physical incomes. You have your career and you have your passion. So your career would be your main, what most people are doing, their 9 to 5, what most people go to college for, what most people, just in general want to spend in a long-term job situation.
Right.
All right. Now your career should have certain benefits, should have retirement plans, everything else kind of set into that. Your passion should be something that you really enjoy doing, that you don't really see as working for your money. It's something that you really are actually doing on a daily basis or doing on a regular basis, that you're just doing it for fun, but you're making money doing it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So out of those 2, those should be the only 2 things that you're physically taking your time to actually make money. Now, the 5 passive incomes that accompany those are going to be built up along the lines of however many years it takes for you to get to the 5 streams of passive income. Now, those 5 streams of passive income could be anything from rental properties. I mean, you can go and get a bunch of cars that are $3,000 cars and rent those out. You know what I mean? Turn around and say, if you buy a car for $3,000 and you rent it out for, say, $30-$40 a day, well, after a month, you've already pretty much made half your money back. You see what I mean?
So wait, who's renting cars? Well, I mean, there's
Anybody.
It's
just in general, you know what I mean? You look at what the market is capable of in your area. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be cars. It could be renting apartments. It could be, renting anything for that matter. You know what I mean? You're renting some sort of a service or some sort of anything. Like, I've seen people renting 4-wheelers for ATV tours, renting jet skis out on the oceans. There's a lot of different aspects of something that you can rent out. Heck, even renting surfboards to the surfers out in California and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of different things you can rent out. And it's just a matter of having inventory that you're capable of renting. So you buy inventory up front and then you rent it out. And most rental schemes, you should have a return on your initial investment pretty relatively quick. You want to have something that you can buy, that you can rent out for a decent price that you'll be able to pay off within a year or so. You know what I mean? And if you could do that, you every year after that now have a passive income off of those rentals, with the exception of some small upkeep and whatnot. You'll be able to produce income month to month. Now, the other thing is you can also have stocks. You can also have different things like that are making money for your money that you already have involved. So once you find your 5 passive incomes, those 5 passive incomes are eventually going to pay you a lot more than what your physical incomes are going to pay you. So it's a very important thing to, as early as you can, start establishing passive incomes while maintaining your career. Now, going into that a little bit further, my stuff that I've been setting up, they all kind of correspond with each other. Like the commercial real estate, for example, that's to pay for the power sports dealership and the property. The food is getting a hand in hand with the cannabis cultivation. The power sports dealership is, like I said, bouncing off of the commercial real estate, and it does also network out with some of the other businesses as well. You know what I mean? This is the other big thing, is networking. So networking is the biggest thing for any of your businesses. If you're trying to achieve several businesses, then what you do is you network your businesses with each other. They might not be in the same industries, but what you can still do is, say, for example, I can go and I can put up advertisement for my cannabis cultivation up in my power sports dealership. I can go and put up advertisement for the food truck in the power sports dealership. You know what I mean? I can go put up advertisement for the power sports dealership in the food truck. You see what I mean? And so people that are going to go to the food truck, now they're going to see that there's this power sports dealership that you can even do coupons, for example, and vice versa, your businesses. So where anybody that buys, $20 or more over at the food truck, now they get, say, a free quart of oil over at the power sports dealership. Something like that, to where you can start bouncing business back and forth off of your different industries that aren't overlapping each other.
Right. Okay. I see that. That's crazy. I'm trying to do that. My God, dude, I didn't even get to the part of like you, like where you're from. God damn, the entire podcast was just about you and your accomplishments, bro. You need to come back so we can have a longer conversation.
No, we can definitely schedule another time for sure.
God damn, dude, you do a lot. You have accomplished a lot since the last time I saw you. I can't wait to see where you're going to be next time. Next time you're in Vegas, you need to come back and sit here and give us some more and let us know what you've been doing ever since the last time I saw you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, on that note, here in Vegas, we are looking to expand the food truck. It's going to be named Olga's Cocina. It's going to be set up somewhere near the Strip. We are looking at a more Italian-based cuisine. As I had mentioned earlier, this is going to be something that should be up in about the next 4 months or so, as well as the power sports dealership. We are looking to expand out here. On a quick couple of minute note, anybody that wants to do any sort of e-commerce business, because I'm looking to e-commerce all of my power sports units, so same kind of business models like a CarMax or Carvana and stuff like that, but with motorcycles and side-by-sides. 100% purchase online. Now, the way that you can achieve this is anybody that wants to sell anything online, you set up your out-of-state articles of organization in whatever state you're trying to sell. It costs $50 to set up an LLC out-of-state organization, articles of organization. So you have your home state, and you set up your LLC there with the Secretary of State, and then you go into any of the states that you want to e-commerce in, and you pay that $50 for each state, and it's a one-time fee, $50 with the Secretary of State, and you set up as what they called out-of-state articles of organization, or an out-of-state company. And so once you've achieved that, you can sell in all 50 states for no additional fees, and you're basically able to, do everything from shipping or whatever else. For shipping or transitions of logistics, it's very simple. If you charge your customers, say, $20, you pay the logistics company $12. If you pay your logistics company $150, you charge your customer $250. It just depends on what you're shipping. You could be shipping CDs, you could be shipping cars. It doesn't matter. So when you go and you buy a car on, say, any of these bigger companies, you can pay them upwards to like $1,200 to ship your car to you. They're not paying $1,200 to the logistics company. It's simple. They're paying $600-$700 to the logistics company because they're doing it in bulk. They're doing it in very, very large quantities. So now the logistics company is taking over the shipping and the responsibility for shipping. You don't have any responsibility for shipping as a business because you're giving it off to a licensed logistics company that is doing all of the responsibility of getting it from A to B.
God, I'm gonna have to watch this podcast over because my brain cannot follow all the information that you gave me, dude. I swear. And I know I need a lot of it because I'm, as you know, I've been trying to do a lot of stuff. Before we get off, dude, do you want to say anything to anybody who's watching that might be wanting to be in contact with you, that might want to reach out? Do you have social media that you can put out there?
So I don't really have the social media right now.
Okay.
I try to limit myself away from the social media.
What about your company? Like because I know that we were contacting off of Instagram.
Yeah.
So like Santa Fe Raceway, right?
Yeah, SF Raceway. So SF Raceway is basically the preliminary that I had set up for the Raceway Power Sports, which is my power sports dealership. It didn't quite fall in line with everything that we're doing as a dealership, so I never made it an official dealership page. It was kind of a personal page that I used for my car and different things.
Okay.
But if anybody is wanting to reach out to me, I will go ahead and shoot my email out there. And, you're more than welcome to email me any business inquiries. I definitely would be happy to assist anybody that has any business questions for me.
Okay.
And it's a real simple one. It's going to be Martinez 87505 at Yahoo.
I'm going to put it right here. Okay. Check it out.
And that's a personal email. I do keep track of that on a daily basis. So anybody that does want to reach out to me there and, get any further business inquiries, I'd definitely be more than happy to reach out to you on email.
That's badass of you, dude, to allow anybody to be reaching out to you. Because a lot of people are, they're a little selfish. Get away. I'm trying to do my own thing, but congrats to you, dude. That's huge, dude. Thank you for coming in.
I appreciate you bringing me in.
Thank you for the dump of knowledge that I know that I will be going back to, because I had this gentleman back in Santa Fe who was in business.
Okay.
And he kind of did the same thing. He sat there. I asked him very small questions and just line after line after line of just like useful information, which
absolutely.
at the time, I didn't understand. I had to like actually watch the podcast over. So
yeah,
that's what I'm going to have to do with this one. Thank you for tuning in with us, guys. Season 2, episode 2 with Jeremiah. What? Jeronimo. JM. What's the M stand for, anyways?
The M stands for Martinez.
Geronimo Martinez. Hell yeah.
And
all right, dude.
And on a final note, just interestingly enough, my email is actually my last name and my zip code, which I was very fortunate to get that because in the city I'm from, there's a lot of Martinez's.
A lot. Yeah, no, Martinez, Ortega, Gonzalez, Lopez. What's another one? Hernandez?
Hernandez, yeah.
That's another one. We can go on and on. Anyways, well, sorry, guys. I started this year off a little sick, but I'm going to be getting better. I will see you guys next week on another podcast with someone I'm not really sure yet because everyone's schedule is kind of mixed up. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Geronimo, for coming in. Have a safe flight back to Santa Fe. Good luck on everything. I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing up next. And, that's it.
Shout out to Liquid Death. Thanks for the drink.
Hey.
And shout out to T-Tox.
T-Toxin.
T-Toxin Talks Local. Let's go.
Yeah. Love you, Doc. Later, guys.